Lauren said to me that improv shows are not really helping him to figure out who he wants. He really needs to see them doing writing, doing characters, like giving everyone 5 minutes each. Then he could tell more of what they can do.
Oh, I
So
see.
then I changed it, and then I started, you know,
Telling people write this certain.
bringing people up. I started working months and months ahead of time because he still did that. He would go, "Okay, we're coming this weekend." I'd be ready because I already finished my 5 months of auditions.
So you would tell people do like 5 characters in 5 minutes, 1 minute each, or something like that.
I'd say 5 minutes, it could be three characters, could be five, but just, do them short. So do as much as you can. Show us what you can. If you can do an impression, that's great. Don't worry about it because it's such heavy makeup now. It doesn't even matter.
Oh yeah, exactly. So doing characters isn't as important in an SNL audition. You're saying?
It is important.
Oh, okay. It is
Writing,
important.
writing. They want to see your writing.
The writing, right? Yeah, more. Okay, I thought. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
They want to see a character. Like they saw Vanessa do Miley Cyrus, and they saw her do this Bubba Shrimp thing, and that's what they get basically very lazy. They're like, all right, you know what? That could be our closing thing. That could be the show. Now we have 2 acts done. You know what I mean?
Right.
God, what was Paul's last name? That little guy. He did a couple of sex ed thing, and then they put that right on. So they want to see the pieces that you're going to put on. They saw Cecily's, they put it right on, and the writers can look at the characters and the scenes and go, "Oh yeah, I can write."
We can write for that. We can write.
He would bring 17 writers,
Yes.
and because he want them to say, "Yes, we could write for that. I have ideas with that character."
Oh.
I could reach Tina Fey, Amy, anyone. He had them anytime, but not Favreau.
And I remember Tina back then, because Tina was on the stage. I remember she would never be necessarily the initiator of the scene, but she could always come in and tie everything up. Was what I remember about Tina.
She was great. She was very funny, smart, physical. And I remember I had Tina and Amy in separate classes. And when I put the teams together, I said, these girls
Yes.
kill it,
Yes.
And then they became best friends. They credit me for introducing them to this day.
As well, you did, yeah, exactly. And Amy would do all the characters. Tina was just more cerebral, and she was just so smart and she was so great with that. I want to know how you got Jeff Richmond, because he's absolutely amazing. He was so integral to that show. He knew every musical style for musical option. He knew how to do every kind of music background. He was incredible. How did you find him?
I can't remember. I think, was he a piano player at Second City, or was he with me first?
4 years I was there, he was there the whole time. I
don't know how I got him. I don't remember that far back, but I do remember that Tina had a crush on him.
She did way back then.
And she was very shy. And he told me he needed an assistant for this Hamlet, the Melancholy musical show.
Yes, I remember the Hamlet. Yes.
Yes. So I went up to Tina. I said, would you like to be an assistant for me for Jeff Richmond? And she was like, yes, thank you. And they fell in love.
They fell in love. What a great couple.
Like, subscribe, comment.
How often did SNL? I remember when they would come to recruit people. Did Cecily Strong and Vanessa Bayer, were they cast from RIOT?
Yeah, they came once a year, sometimes twice a year, usually in July.
Okay.
And I would put up, first of all, I would start working in February. I'd give everyone a chance to write 5 minutes, and then of those people, I would have to pick the best 15 because that's what he wanted to see. And then he'd usually, out of the 15, because I was very good at picking it for him, he really liked it. And he liked the way IO worked. He liked the way that people took care of each other and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then he'd take like 8 out for drinks, and then he'd take just to see who's crazy or not. And then he'd fly out maybe 3 or 4 and then hire maybe 2 a year. I have a pretty good track record. Cecily Strong, this is interesting. She was my box office manager at the time. Also one of my house teams. She was on the Deltones.
Oh, I love her. She's so great.
And I had finished my 5-month audition process before Lauren Michaels was coming. And I happened to be passing the box office on the way up to my office. And I said, Cecily, how come you didn't audition for me this year? And she said, well, I have some stuff, but it's not really ready. So I'll wait till next year. Because people were afraid that if they weren't good, Lauren wouldn't want to see them again.
Right.
So I said, let me see what you have, because I knew how good she was.
Yeah.
And I went upstairs and everything was really short. And I said, you want to know something? this is actually a good audition because most people go too long.
Too long.
They do the joke and we get it, and they do it again. I'm going, we got it, you know. And
Right.
she just made the joke, and the characters were clear, like she did the girl who you don't want at the party, and some
Right,
fat
right.
guy at a buffet. And I said, no, you're gonna go up. And she was like, no, I'm scared, I'm not ready. And I was like, I'm telling you, you're ready. And she got hired.
Give me your favorite Farley story when he was there.
Oh God.
I know it's hard to pick one because you used to love him. He would come in even after when he came back from SNL, and he would sit in with us and he would do.
He loved me, he loved Dell, he loved IO. Okay, well, I can actually tell you the first fight I had with him, which was when I first got to know him, because I didn't like him in the beginning.
Oh, really?
So he came to IO, you know, he was performing in college at Marquette, and he wanted to get on stage. So when he came to IO and took level 1, he was trying so hard. You know, he'd do the falling on the stage with his
Oh, yeah.
pants falling and just being real crazy. And I just wanted him to take the work seriously. You know, I couldn't stand him, you know. And Pat Finn, I don't know if you remember him, would just take him away, go,
Big Pat
he's
Finn.
sorry. Come on, Farley, he's sorry. That was like, Pat was like his little bodyguard. So one night, I can't remember the name of the theater we're at. It was on Lincoln, one of the 15 places I was thrown out of.
Yeah.
And I know Kettner was playing at the time.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Marcus was playing. I'll never forget that. And Farley comes up to me in the lobby. We hadn't started yet. He goes, "Let me play tonight." And I was like, "Are you crazy? You're the worst. You're not playing. Come on, let me play." And he's like banging the wall over my head. "Let me play. Come on." He was really jonesing to get up on the stage. But you know me, I'm like, everyone respects me. Nobody treats me like that. You know,
Right.
I thought, okay, I'm gonna scare the shit out of him. So I said, "I'll tell you what, you want to play? Go ahead. But if you screw up, you won't work at all in this town."
Oh.
But before I could even finish the threat, he was bounding to the stage.
Wow.
And I remember Kettner and Mike Myers giving me a look like, "What are you doing?" But you know what? We were so small at the time. It wasn't like we had packed houses. Maybe
Right.
7 people. So I thought, okay, we'll teach him a lesson. And he was so good, Greg.
Really?
So good.
Wow.
He was wonderful. He was hilarious, and he did beautiful scenes, and everyone fell in love with him right away, including me. And he came up to me like a little puppy dog, you know, making his hair stand up, going, "Was that okay?" And I was like, it was wonderful.
Like, subscribe, comment.
Because you're huge in the improv world. Everyone knows you and they know Del Close. You know what I'm saying? How did you first meet Del Close, and who is Del Close?
Okay, well, Del Close was the director of Second City for many, many years, and he was the one who had the idea for long form improvisation, which was basically the Herald. It's a funny story how I met him. I'm glad you asked that question. Well, as you know, I was doing that game theater, which was Improv Olympic at the time.
Yes.
And it was successful, but I was really getting sick of games, and I thought there's got to be something else for improvisation.
Longer form.
Right. And so I heard of this guy, Del Close. And so it was Halloween, and I heard that he was doing a show at an art gallery that night. And so I thought I'll go and I'll try to see if I could get him to teach a class, see what I could learn, what I could steal. Well, I didn't know that he was a witch. And so when I walked into the art gallery, there he was with his robes on, with his magic wand, and he was invoking demons. And at that time, I was learning to meditate, and they say you should white light yourself and
Yes.
let demons in. So I was horrified. And then at the end, I went up to him and I said, "You had a lot of nerve invoking demons with all these people in the room." And he said, "I protected the building." That, and he said, "Yes, I can."
He's a good witch.
Oh, yeah, right. Well, and I didn't know. So I walked out and I was really angry and he hated me. And then I went back to Cross Currents, which where I was performing, and I thought, I can't believe I ruined the opportunity to talk to the man about teaching a class. And so it just so happened that a few weeks later, he was at Cross Currents having coffee and smoking a cigarette. And I thought, well, I heard he's always high and he doesn't remember people. So he's not going to remember me from 5 minutes a long time ago, a few weeks ago. So I walked up to him and I said, I wanted to bribe him. So I said, "Hey, how'd you like to make $200 in some pot?" And he said, "Oh, what do I got to do?" And I said, "Just teach 1 3-hour class." And he said, "Can I do anything I want?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Can I invoke demons?" And so I said, "Oh shit, he remembers me."
Yes.
At this point, I said, "Yeah, you can do anything you want." And then he taught a class that just was brilliant, that exposed the secrets of the universe to us. And
Yeah.
afterwards, we went for coffee, and I said, "I just know there's got to be something more for improv." And and he said, "Well, maybe you're not a twit after all." And he said, "If you want to shut down your little game theater, we could work on this long form that's basically unteachable and unplayable because there's no structure, and we could change the face of improvisational comedy. And I said, yes, please.
What stuck out about Mike Myers to you about his work on stage? I remember what you told me one story about him.
What?
I remember how you said he was so good with detail. He'd pretend he'd go out as if he's going to get, not just like in a scene, like we just, like, let's get to the car, and we'll get to the car and start going. His part of the scene was getting to the car, opening the door carefully, rolling down the window, adjusting the mirror.
Fixing the mirror. And he was also really into the group work. Mike never cared about being the lead in the scenes. He was always the decoration. You know, if the king was talking, he'd go, peas and carrots, it'd be the townspeople, you know. So he loved that stuff. He was really smart.
Yeah.
Had a very high reference level, and he was kind of a phenomenon because he's very quiet off stage.
Very, yeah.
And then on stage, he was just a riot.
Like, subscribe, comment,